Def Leppard was a band known for being extremely meticulous when it came to the recording studio. For example, for the snare drum sound of just one song, they would spend weeks of painstaking detail getting it just punchy enough. Or even when it came down to guitar chords, instead of recording the guitarist doing full strums, they would sometimes record each string one by one and blend it together in post-production. So as producer Mutt Lange overheard singer Joe Elliott fooling around on a guitar chord progression one day in the studio, it was odd for Lange to take notice and insist on recording it. They were already 2.5 years into the making of the Hysteria album, and the deadline to get the record in was soon approaching. This quick last-minute addition to the album would soon become Def Leppard's signature song, Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Pour some sugar on me.
By 1987, Def Leppard had sunk almost $5 million into the recording of what would become their album Hysteria. 2.5 years had gone by and they'd finally reached a point where all they needed to do was put the finishing touches on the 11 songs recorded. The rest of the band were away on break, while singer Joe Elliott stayed back to put his final vocal touches on it, along with producer Mutt Lange. It was during the vocal sessions for Armageddon It, where Joe was relaxing around the studio in between takes.
We stopped to take a break, and there was a guitar in the corner, and I just picked it up and started playing the chorus. And Mutt walked back in, and he heard me doing it, and he said, "What is that?"
For some reason, the chord progression stopped Mutt in his tracks. After hearing it a few more times, he cancelled the Armageddon It session, installed fresh new tape, and got to work on this new song. But Joe was skeptical. Not only was this just a silly little guitar part with a melody over top, but they had the album already in the can. What were the rest of the band gonna say once they got back to the studio from their break?
I said, Mutt, there's no way they're going to go for that. You know, we've got 11 songs. We've been working on this album for 2.5 years. And he's like, no. This could be a really important song.
He made me believe that what I'd come in with was worth playing to these guys so that they could take it to the next stage.
Knowing Mutt's track record, with him also producing their smash Pyromania album 3 years prior, Joe put his trust in Mutt and they got to work. For the vocal style and the verse, Joe is inspired by the popular crossover hit at the time, Walk This Way, with Run DMC's rapping that works so well over rock music. To come up with lyrics, Mutt and Joe took cassette players and experimented by yelling out the first things that came out of their mouth as the music to the verse played in the background.
We had one each, and we both went to opposite ends of the control room next to the big speakers in the mall, and he hit the play button, and we just started scatting like Cab Calloway. And then we swapped tapes, and then we deciphered what we thought the other person was singing. I thought he said, "Love is like a bomb, baby, come and get it on." And we wrote that down, and we both just big-eyed went, yes! That's the opening line.
Love is like a bomb, baby, come and get it on.
Days later, as the rest of the band got back from their break, Mutt and Joe knew the idea of recording another song would not go over well with the rest of the guys.
Mutt went, we got some good news and we got some bad news. He says, we got a 12th song, and you could see everybody's eye rolls like, oh, really? But just listen to this. And, you know, they played the demo to everybody else, and they, you know, within 30, 40 seconds, they're all smiling going, oh, yeah.
When it came down to the guitar parts, Mutt's philosophy was the simpler the better. The band wanted hit songs and ones that played great live in arenas. Mutt explained that meant leaving space for the vocals and the drums.
Initially it was in a different key, and the riff was more like... It was like that was more continuous. Mutt said, put gaps in it. We changed the key, so I had to change where I actually played it. And we had these big gaps for the snare to come in, so it was like... So it had this kind of space, so the vocal would work.
Mutt wasn't just the producer for Def Leppard, he was almost like the sixth member of the band. In fact, he got a songwriting credit for every song on Hysteria. Growing up a fan of country music, sometimes his ideas sounded bizarre in the hair metal realm. For example, the origins of Love Bites from that same Hysteria album was Mutt showing the guys this twangy country ballad he came up with. Along those country lines, Mutt wanted Pour Some Sugar on Me to feature this country-style riff he made up.
Mutt Lange said it should kind of start like this. And he played it with his fingers like that. So I just done that riff more like a... Like, and you can hear the presence and the clicking of a metal pick. It had a kind of an aggression, almost like a violence to it.
Hysteria would go on to dominate the album charts for 3 years after its release, producing a staggering 7 singles. But it took a while to take off. Their first 3 singles, Animal, Woman, and Hysteria, did okay, but only got the album to peak at number 4 on the Top 200 chart after its release in August of 1987. But it was Pour Some Sugar on Me that propelled the record to its success, revitalizing it to the top of the charts, an unprecedented 1 year after its release. The success of the single in America helped finally push the album through, with thanks to an unusual grassroots movement.
In America, it absolutely failed at rock. But some of the ladies that dance on poles, they started dancing to this song because of the tempo was... I remember Mutt saying when we wrote it, it's got to be danceable. And 6 months after it was like not a big hit on rock, it started getting requested because it's getting danced to in strip clubs. And then the people leaving the strip clubs are requesting the song on radio.
Hysteria has since gone on to sell more than 20 million records, putting it in the top 60 most albums sold in music history. The guys in Def Leppard have called Pour Some Sugar on Me the most important song on that album because the breakthrough in America cascaded it to success across the globe. Looking back, Def Leppard could have taken the easy route and stayed with an 11-song track list for Hysteria, but the mindset to be open to a whole other song is exactly why Hysteria, and even their career, was so successful. They weren't satisfied with the status quo.
From the day we started in '77, we wanted to be the biggest band in the world. And by the time that album came out and the tour kicked in, for a little while, we were.
Folks, Loudwire has officially entered the merch game. Shirts, hoodies, mugs, pins, and stickers are now available at the official Loudwire online merch store. And no, this isn't your run-of-the-mill copy and paste designs. We've commissioned real artists to make custom and original artwork. There's parody shirts, such as this Aussie's Bar and Grill tee. There's this I Horns Metal coffee mug, not to be confused with I Heart Metal. And of course, your classic Loudwire logo on everything. Any purchase over $50 and the shipping is free. Check out loudwiremerch.com for a wide variety of merchandise options. That's loudwiremerch.com. And a reminder, shipping is only available in the US. All proceeds go to support this channel and help us make more videos and content for you guys. We love you, and as always, thank you for watching.